everybody. We're back with Magic Shares Travel with another Facebook Friday. And we're going to take just a second here to synchronize phones. And while we do that, we'll let Jeff say hello and banter for a minute.
Hey, good evening, everybody. And thanks for joining us. My name is Jeff with the Magic Shares Travel. I'm the owner. And we're going to be covering the Flower and Garden Festival this evening. To my immediate right is Holly, our office manager, and Amy, our productions manager. And thanks for joining us this evening. We're going to be talking a lot about, I guess, the different type of foods that they have to offer, the topiaries that they have to offer.
We're good. We're sharing. I just want to make sure we're sharing live everywhere. So we are now. Okay.
There we go. We are live. And so I think they have a few new topiaries this year. Every year they try to add.
Oh, did you see some? Did you see anything about it?
I did.
I was looking and I couldn't find anything.
That's why I'm the owner.
That's why I'm the owner.
I did not do that live.
You sure did.
They actually have Belle over in France. They have Figment over at the...
Figment is, left over from Arts Festival.
Arts Festival, yep. So he's already down there. And I believe the three
Caballeros?
Caballeros are over in Mexico.
Topiaries and three Caballeros?
Yes. Triplets.
I gotta run down quick.
Trace. Yeah, go ahead. And we also have one of our agents on property down there right now.
Hi, Becky!
Hey, Beck, how you doing? I know it's a tough job being down there, getting that first-hand experience to bring back to our clients, but somebody's got to do it,
and
right?
Becky's also checking out Universal for us. So,
yes, Universal Orlando.
Hopefully we can get her back on the show coming up soon.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And
if she comes back.
Right, I mean, she might stay.
Looking at a few of her texts and things, I think she volunteered to be our correspondent from south of the border.
That'll work. I mean, that's nice of her and everything, but I feel like that's more than a one-person job.
Yeah, so if I have to be, if I won't be here next week.
Okay. Well, so I'll be coming to you solo next week. Amy and Jeff are abandoning me for Florida.
We just do the show down there.
Yeah, okay, we'll just all move. Ben's going to regret not coming to this Facebook Friday.
We can all squeeze into Pop Century. Yeah.
So, do we want to start with news, or do we want to talk festival first? What do we feel like tonight?
We always talk about the subject matter first. If that's what we're game for. It's up to you.
Let's do it. Okay. Should we start with our table decorations? Sounds good. Tonight we said we would explain everything as we went each week. So over on the
I'm this closest to me.
Over on our right, which I guess hey, I can see myself on screen. That's weird. It should be you guys' left. We have a lovely arrangement. The arrangement is brought to us tonight. We thought it'd be nice to have some live flowers at our Flower and Garden Festival show, and this arrangement is brought to us by Tiffany Wellen at the Bloombox LLC in Abbottstown. So if you are in need of flowers for any special occasion and you are local to the Hanover, York, Abbottstown area, hit Tiffany up. She does a fantastic job on her floral arrangements, and she will...
Too bad there's not smell-o-vision because
yes, it smells beautiful.
Oh, it smells really good.
Yep. So thanks to Tiffany for working that arrangement out for us, and you can check out her Facebook page. I'll put something in the comments about how to find her if you need flowers. So and then of course we have some fresh fruit here on the table. That's provided by Jeff. Just
eating healthy.
In case he doesn't have as pretty a flowers.
Well, along with that is sort of the subject matter, and also that they've really kicked it up this year with bringing and organizing, and then their presentations and their seminars are going to be enhanced by the farm to table, with not only their foods but their restaurants, the kiosks that are around Epcot are going to, their displays, their dishes are more enhanced from the farm to table. So you're going to see a lot more salads and fruit salads. And
there are on the food list.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in a minute, about how much new food there is this year. And one of the things that's been a prevailing topic in the gardens for the last couple of years, have you guys seen when they did the salsa garden the other year? They had a garden full of everything you would need to make your own salsa. Mm-hmm. So of course there were tomatoes and onions and whatever else goes in salsa, cilantro. So they're doing different themed gardens, like how to make a garden that will create exactly the food that you're trying to get, instead of just randomly planting fruits and vegetables in your yard.
You can get a lot of tips on how to get the most abundance from a plant, different ways. And as Disney's trying to get more produce out of smaller areas, And we'll get into that a little bit because of some of the tours that they have available this year, which they have every year, but there's one or two that I didn't hear about before.
Oh, yeah.
But I was going to say, I'll let you explain
And
what this
over
is.
to the-
And it's closest to my heart because it's right there, and it's going to be close to something else as soon as the show's over.
Jeff asked if we could make this a 30-minute show. I think he wants to dive in. So, anyway, on the left, well, I guess it's your right, probably. I don't know how this camera angle thing works, and I've never been good at left and right anyway. Over there, one of the great things that Flower and Garden Festival has started doing in the last couple of years is adding food, because what's Epcot without food booths? So
Always a celebration.
So this is actually my festival favorite from last year. It's not from last year. I made it today, but it's
Poison us.
I'm glad you
it's
clarified.
Japanese frushi. So it's sushi, but made with fruit and soy wrappers instead of seaweed. So I love it. I hope Amy and Jeff will love it too. And if they don't, Ben loves it. So he'll be happy with the leftovers. So that's our table decor for today, and where it's going to kind of tie into our festival. And I guess without further ado, Amy, you want to talk a little bit about what you like at the festival?
Sure. Well, we'll tell you when the dates of the festival are this year. It runs from March 1st to May 29th. So
a lot of time to see it this year.
Absolutely, yeah. There are over 70 topiaries. I'm sorry, over 100 topiaries.
Whoa, really?
70 of them are specifically Disney.
What are the other
So
30?
I guess just your formed trees and I guess they're
okay.
kind
They
of
actually,
They're
well,
counting
I
those
think-
this year.
and also I think they count. They have flower towers.
Yes. Yeah.
So
okay.
what they're doing is they're taking the space and rising it up to give it a
Oh.
more of a visual effect, to get more into.
Like-
Not that Epcot's small,
Right.
but able to, they put in a few extra pathways
Like
to
they,
walk through from the gate of the World Trade Center to get into the different countries and stuff. So they've done things along the way to try to elevate it up and make you feel like you're more not enclosed, but surrounded by more of
Encompassed by the
natural.
flowers.
Encompassed. There's a good word.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So, kind of like the poinsettia trees that they do at Christmas.
Yep.
They're tiering the. Cool. That looks good. I did look for some information about the topiaries earlier today, and honestly, I was having trouble finding people that were giving early reports about what was there. All the pictures that I saw, I was like, yeah, that one was there last year. That one was there last year. That was there last year.
Yeah, the
So-
three I mentioned were the only new ones that I
Yeah.
came across, and then
So
and a
not
few,
a
like
lot
you
on
said,
the
a
new
few of them were
gardening.
left over from the Festival of the Arts,
Right.
which gave me the feel when I seen the topiaries. I was like, can I just stay?
Yeah. I know Flower and Garden's coming soon. I just want to stick around.
Well, something really cool with what you're talking about, seeking out the different topiaries. There is a garden passport, and you can actually print it off online.
Oh, nice.
And it's really cool because it not only breaks down the topiaries, but it also breaks down food,
Ooh.
drink specials, alcoholic and non-alcoholic.
I'm
So
glad you
can I
mentioned
get
the
this-
non-alcoholic, because that's one of the things I was going to bring up. Was that everybody can enjoy it down there.
Absolutely.
Um,
And this I think more so than the food and wine, because even though the alcohol is available, it's less in your face. I mean, not being in the title, and they do have lots and lots of specialty drinks if that's your thing, but definitely an opportunity to go more to the food aspect of why you're there.
And I think they're introducing more ciders. And from what I've seen, the ciders, they have fruit-flavored ciders. And they, of course, they have their a citrus, being in Florida.
Right.
So they have their blood orange that's actually right out of the Orlando down in Cape Canaveral area. There's a brewery down there. And I'm not going to get into mention the brewery so much, but they also have one coming out of Wisconsin that's a blackberry cider. And what was the other one? Couple different fruit flavored ciders. I didn't have any yet. So it was. I think it was neat that they tied the concept of the garden festival into what the ciders were actually made from. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. While we're on food booths, there are 57 new items
Wow.
this year, and 2 booths that are entirely new. So there's definitely going to be a lot of new food critique coming back. I will say 2 of my favorite items from last year, which were the frushi. Actually, 3. Oh, no, 3 of my favorite. I'm sorry, I did a little research this afternoon. The frushi, the beef teriyaki udon bowl. Both of those were in Japan, and the candied strawberries, which were in China. Those are all back this year. Also returning is my festival least favorite from last year, which is the smoked salmon tartare at the UK. Yeah, that was an interesting combination of flavors on that one. I'm going to put that one among my favorites, but apparently other people liked it because it is back again.
And along with the different dining that they're having, they have also tied in their music series to have reserved seating at the different shows that they're having. Highlighting the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, new wave. So it depends on what weekend you're down there. They do have a schedule that you can look at, and there are people that select certain weekends to be there
based on certain bands.
And there's plenty of time between now and the end of May, so we still got 2.5 months where we could get together and discuss getting you there. Of course, I haven't asked for business online before, but
hey, you can go to Disney.
When it's 3 months out,
you can
I
go
just
to
figured
Disney
it's
in 2
something
weeks.
we could really enjoy.
It's possible. You won't have the perfect selection of fast passes or the perfect selection of dining, but if you want to go, you can go anytime, and we can make it happen. So.
And they also got some tours, and I was interested in finding out that they have like the Princess Tea tour.
Oh yeah.
It's $15.
Is that through the English Garden?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do that last time, and it didn't work out.
And they have one that I didn't know about before called the Backseat tour.
Yes.
Like the back tour lot. So it's a backseat tour
Oh.
that you actually go through the land
Oh,
where
yeah,
the ride
yeah.
is,
The behind
but you
the
do the
scenes.
walking tour
Right.
through there,
Yeah.
and they explain how they've done everything. And
That's a cool
what's the
tour.
I'm trying to remember because they have the tomato plant one down there that it's produced like 150,000 tomatoes or something.
Yeah.
I mean, something astronomical.
Wow.
How much this thing has produced and how they can do it year round. And not just that it's in Florida, but the fact that it's thermostatically controlled indoors. So it makes me thinking about getting a project like maybe I'll get my own tomato plant and just see if I can get that.
See how long you can keep it alive inside.
Give me a fresh mater sandwich in
There you
January.
And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
With the tours and demonstrations, there also is a new one this year, which I was pretty excited about, and it kind of gears more towards the kids, which is great, especially because obviously you'll be taking them out of school during this time. It'd be a great educational
Multicultural
tour.
educational experience.
Yes. But it's actually an exhibit from the Nature Conservancy. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So the kids will learn how to create a garden and actually all aspects of it, how it helps with the water system.
Interesting.
Not only just the food, but your soil, the water, and obviously the food. So it's just cool the kids can actually get their hands
And probably
dirty
more of a
with it.
natural type fertilizers and stuff like that instead of chemical based. I'm
Yeah.
sure that they're going to touch on that. So that's interesting, especially get to some, and maybe if they bring that back home with them
Right.
and want to do something, at their house, and it doesn't have to be a farm you live on. It's just utilizing the amount of space that you have.
Right.
A little TLC.
And container gardens and stuff. There are lots of seminars, just like Food and Wine Festival has like wine pairings and cheese and how to make food. Flower and Garden does have things like how to make a container garden, and I don't know if that's a specific one for this year, but that's in the vein of the kind of seminars that they do.
And using their big thing too. We'll go into living with the land. They talk about hydroponics a lot.
Yeah. Yes.
And so that's also involved.
I decided after the behind the scenes tour, I was gonna come home and I was gonna make like a hydroponic garden. And then I looked at the schematic on the little handout that they give you about how to do it, and I was like, yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. But can we get back to that tour for a second? Because my favorite thing about that tour, because they talk a lot about different like genus and species of plants, and there are words that are like this long on the tour. And I'm not really a biology kind of person, so most of that was like, but they have this trash can on the tour. And they give you a sample. They have a cucumber that they grow into the shape of Mickey Mouse's head, because apparently you can train a cucumber to grow mouse ears. So they have a mold that they force it through and they slice it down for you and give you a sample. Well, they give each person a sample on a toothpick. This trash can is full, literally, of toothpicks. It's like a 45-gallon trash can.
Oh my gosh.
And I actually came home and did the math after we got home for how many toothpicks had to be in that trash can.
Did they say if they're going to recycle the
I was just
toothpicks?
dumbfounded that they had
Oh
the number of toothpicks that must be in that trash can and how many people must have taken that tour before us. It was just...
And that's probably daily.
I don't think they empty it now. No, I think I asked him, and I want to say they said it was like 3 years since they had emptied the trash can.
Really?
I was like, that's kind of gross, right? There's like some mold in there or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Sorry.
We're good.
That's one of my favorite little gems from a tour. So, what's the other thing you like there? I mean, there's at the festival.
I love the Butterfly Pavilion. That is so
It's pretty awesome.
cool. You walk in through a tented, or a screened-in tent, I should say, and inside there's beautiful flowers and
usually a couple
garden.
topiaries hiding in there if
Yes.
you're looking, if you're trying to find them all.
Yeah, but there are butterflies everywhere. Like they'll just come in and sit on your arm. It's
If you can hold still. If your kids are running around, they're not going to sit on them.
yeah,
but,
it is.
but it's
that-
really neat.
I would say was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Out of the whole.
And of course they have information about the butterflies and their larva stage, and so of course if you're needing that educational component, this is a very, very easy place to pick it up.
Absolutely. Yes, that was definitely a favorite.
Yeah.
And on Epcot itself and the different countries there, I've said it before, because I think it's important that people don't just walk through.
Right.
And because we may have different viewers every week or I hope we got a few of the same, and they are growing. But go into these countries, and there's an educational experience, and there's rides inside there. In Japan, you can go in and choose an oyster and get the pearl out of it. And of course, at a cost, you're going to have the pearl turned into a piece of jewelry if you would like. But it's
But I
just,
think isn't actually choosing the pearl like $15?
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
Because it's pretty reasonable to actually.
because
yeah.
I'm all about trying to educate the children while they're down there, and I don't like anybody to say that one park isn't child oriented or is or isn't. You may have to get off the beaten path and stick your head into certain
Right.
places to see what other people are just walking by and saying they don't see the big deal. Well, the big deal is it's not just a facade of the fronts of the different countries. It's actually getting into that country
Right.
and having the cast members being
That's
from
just what I
those
was gonna
countries,
say.
and
Just the fact
you can
that they're
ask them
staff.
questions. They love to talk about where they're from,
Right.
what it's like there, what their experience here in America is.
I mean, that's kind of the whole reason they come here is to get a cultural exchange. So they actually count on you as a guest to go in and ask them questions about where they're from and share experiences with them. So if you're not taking that opportunity, you're kind of shortchanging these basically exchange students that are here.
And I didn't find as much German chocolate as there used to be in years past in Germany when I was just down there at the beginning of February.
Caramel's still there, though.
Yeah, they got
So no
the
worries, caramel scandal.
and they've actually got the chewy and the soft. What's the difference between the soft and the chewy? I don't know. I should have bought a pack of each. But
Yep,
Missed
try them.
opportunity.
this stuff.
Come on, Jeff, show and tell. Let's go.
I ate it on the plane.
Fruit.
I traded it in for
Fruit.
Frushi.
Oh gosh, I was just thinking about something I lost. Oh, Germany. This is an important tip if you're going during a festival. And Ben found this out the hard way. Germany, when you think Germany, you think what? Beer and pretzels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're walking around Epcot one afternoon, and Ben's like, you know what? I could really eat a pretzel. So of course we think, hightail it to Germany. Of course they'll have pretzels there. Apparently the beer and pretzel stand that's outside closes down when they have a festival booth open, and you can't get pretzels in the festival booth. So if you're looking for a German pretzel, and that's like the thing, that's what you that's like
During
your
the festival.
that's your I've got to go to Disney moment. You're gonna not want to do festivals, so we can hook you up with like June 2nd. You can leave, and you'll be able to get your pretzels. So. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about here? Topiaries we hit, right?
Yep.
Oh, let me talk about a little bit of pricing on the booths. I thought it was interesting. Do you remember the prices from the art festival?
They were basically the same as they were at the food and wine festival that they
So
had.
I felt like they were a little higher at Festival of the Arts. Like more items reaching that like $8 and $9 price point.
Yeah, I think maybe to a $7. Yeah, I would say an average $1 increase.
Over the food. And
yeah,
wine.
because you're right. And then you gave me the specials, the BLT and the
right.
with no LT.
We thought they were larger portions though too. Than they were. So it was more expensive, but also more food and fewer booths to try. So kind of a similar. I think it probably comes out in the wash at the end of the day.
It might be the type of offerings that they also had, where the size needed to be larger to get the full.
To accommodate the items.
And the visual effect, making it palatable and
right.
pretty to look at until
That's a good point.
you walked about 10 feet away.
Right. Well, at the Flower and Garden, I took a look at the price list, and $8 is the top price at Flower and Garden for anything at the booths. And only 3 items were over $7, and they were the tuna poke in, I guess it's still pronounced poke in Japan. It is in Hawaii, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with it. The lamb chop and the spicy hot dog were those were the 3 items that were over $7. So it looks like pretty much everything else is going to be in that $4 to $6 range. There were some drinks topping out. The top drink that I saw was $11.75. So definitely a little bit expensive on that end for what's a fairly reduced portion. You can go pretty much anywhere on Disney property and get a mixed drink for about $10 to $12. So those I don't think
sometimes
is very good value.
I'll do that. I'll enjoy the food down there, and if I see a specialty drink that I just gotta have,
right, something unique or special, then it's different.
I did that on the one Polish kiosk during the food and wine. But I'll normally just go into the little. There's only a couple places to go into, but get a mixed drink, around as you're walking around the lake. And like you said, $10 to $11, and it's a larger drink for the same price than what you would get out at the kiosk. So if you're looking for something special, then you can get the ones at the kiosk. If you know what you're looking for and you want to spend the same money and have twice or 3 times as much, I just go in and get a drink and walk around with it.
Right. Now there are 4 snacks and desserts that are under $4, but those are up to you to find. I'm not going to give you any hints. So a couple different ways to, a lot of different price points to be able to enjoy the festival from the food aspect. And one item in particular I did want to mention, there's a new stand called Berry Bloom. That's one of the 2 new ones. The other one is Northern. I have Northern Bloom written down in my notes, but I feel like that's not right. But it's over near Canada. But the Berry Bloom is offering a mint julep option. And mixed with various berry flavors. I think there were like 3 different options for that. And mint julep is actually one of the signature items in Disneyland that's been like around since opening day, and it's like has a cult following, kind of like the Dole Whip does on the East Coast. So I thought it was pretty cool that they brought that to the Flower Garden Festival this year.
I wasn't going to say it, but now that you brought it up. I wasn't a big fan of the Dole Whip the last time I was down there.
Oh, no.
I don't.
World renowned, I know.
I don't care
understand.
for Dole Whip. I really don't care for Dole Whip.
Man, the lines down there were astronomical, and then I was all excited. It must have been just me because it just didn't seem like it was what like in the past.
You liked it in the past, though.
Yeah.
See, I don't care for pineapple, so for me, like, Dole Whip is lost on me completely.
Get out the van.
But the vanilla soft serve that goes with it, I don't care for the flavor of that. It tastes funny to me. So, and now that they've taken the orange option away, I'm kind of like, what am I doing here? So that's a Ben thing. He does the Dole Whips, and
well, they actually had where you could get. They had the smaller one where you could get just the Dole Whip. Mm-hmm. And then for like $3 more, you got the larger, where it was the juice and the Dole Whip.
Right.
So I asked him, I said, can you just give me the larger one without the juice? Mm-hmm. And the guy turned around and looked, and they all looked at each other, and they all shrugged their shoulders. And they were like,
sure, don't know.
So they went ahead and filled it up with just the Dole Whip, and maybe I got...
You might have just gotten over.
Got OD'd on Dole Whip.
You might have.
Dole Whip DD.
I didn't know you could do that.
No, that's one thing about Disney. I've learned over the years, ask.
Yeah.
Just ask questions. Ask, you know.
And you're dealing a lot of times with frontline cast members who know that their ultimate first job is to make you happy. So if they're not sure what the answer is, a lot of times they'll do whatever you ask them to do within reason.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's a lot with we mentioned a week before last about your meals and your snack, substituting. If you don't want the potatoes for your breakfast, get a banana or an orange or a juice out of the box, and just let them know up front that you made an item change.
Right.
And they're very
And they'll
accepting,
adjust
very
it,
accepting of anything that's health conscious wise. I like that a lot.
Right. Well, then they have the Mickey check meals now too,
Yes.
where you can, if you're trying to make sure that you're finding something that's reasonably healthy for your kids to eat, because then, you know, when you're balancing the potential picky eater with the offerings that are available and trying to find something that's not mac and cheese. So that kind of gives you a guideline as far as what they're making that's, you know, a little bit more maybe calorie conscious, or trying to pair some maybe proteins with some vegetables instead of just giving you straight carbs. So.
And one of the things that, I don't know if it seems anal or not, but I looked at the apples that come with the child's meal that's already
the sliced.
sliced. Mm-hmm. And I inquired as to how do they keep them not turning.
Yeah.
And I was told that one thing, they're vacuum packed. Mm-hmm. And the second thing was, and I was told this a long time ago, and they're cut with plastic culinary.
Oh.
If you use metal knife to cut an apple, the table life of it, even though it'll be okay, but it taints it. It turns the brown edges.
Right.
They said if you get plastic.
Interesting.
And get the heavy duty because they'll break them. But
so I could have put apples in the fruit sheet.
If you cut, you could have.
That's why I didn't, because I knew. Lemon. I could have put it in lemon.
If you
juice.
cut it with plastic, so I might have to try it now that I said it, so I can report back that yes, it works. But
yeah, I'm interested now. I'm gonna have to get
they
myself
said for some reason it's a chemical
use,
thing
one of
or
those
whatever.
like plastic table knives that'd probably just snap right in half when it hits the apple. But
yeah, probably have to go to BJ's and get the good stuff.
Specialty plastic knife. Interesting. All right. Anybody else have any other thoughts about food and garden?
They got so many
I think they
festivals.
should change. I really think they should change the name of it now that
They're going to have a
serving food
festival of the
garden.
festivals.
Yeah.
I think Jeff touched on the garden rocks. That's what they
Right,
call
the concert series.
Yeah. They also are doing the garden rocks with a dining package.
Oh, right.
So there are many restaurants that are participating in that concert series. So check it out.
Some
you
of
can
them
get
are
two for one.
right,
Okay.
and some of them are places that it's usually pretty easy to get a reservation at. Like Beer Garden is usually a participant, and it's usually not that hard to get a reservation there. So that's a good one. And plus they have in-restaurant entertainment. I feel like that gets overlooked a lot, but you're getting a show and a meal, and it's one of the least expensive buffets in World Showcase, and you can do it with a concert package. So it's kind of like
shows.
Yeah, it's kind of like the sweet spot of value if you're not using the dining plan.
The only downfall I found with the dining package with the reserved seating for the concerts was that they want to give you that VIP appeal, the feeling.
Right.
So when you walk in, they escort you down, and they put you right down like in the orchestra pit. I like to be about a third of the way back. To halfway back, because of the visual. If you're so close to the stage, your peripheral, you're constantly, like Circus du Soleil. I would never sit up because that thing will drive you crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like put me, I wanted to see the whole persona.
That's a good point.
So I went down and I asked them. I was trying to. They said, "No, we reserved you down front." I said, "I did this so I could come in first, so that I could pick where I wanted to sit."
Right. Can I sit
And
back
so
there?
I was a nonconformist, and I kind of walked over and
Yeah.
not to start anything, but I just
Right, and they're going to let you go. They're not going to make a scene,
Go sit with the common folk if you want.
But that's a good point, because the only time we've ever done that package was for Candlelight Processional, because I didn't want to stand in the line. Yeah, I didn't want to stand in the line that formed at 2:00 for the show that was at 5:30. So we did the dining package, and for that I really wanted to be up front because I wanted to see that particular Candlelight Processional because I wanted to see Gary Sinise, who was the narrator that night, and I could get a much better view of Gary Sinise when I was in row 2 than I could have if I was in row 15. So. Yeah, definitely a different motivation for the concert series versus the Candlelight packages.
So you didn't need to see Sandy from Chicago that came down with the choral
I didn't really
concert.
care about Sandy. I wanted to see Gary. Let's see, did we miss any flower and garden topics that are
A lot of there's extra play areas and stuff for the children.
Oh, they are, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
I know it seems silly to go to Disney to go to a playground, but they do them so well. It's like it's worth it. It's worth taking.
I honestly believe that there's children spend an excessive amount of time there because I've seen parents like going in and telling them, "Come on, like we really have to go."
But I mean, really, like it's their vacation too, and I know it seems silly for them to go to Disney to go to a playground, but that's like. There's like if you ask kids what things that they like playgrounds and pools, or that's their bread and butter.
And they're very colorful. They have some
Right.
themed ones. They use safe like a mulching and stuff on the bottom. One of them was even rubber. It was recycled rubber mulch. And they said when they picked it up there, they were going to take it and use it for something else. So they just kept the use.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I know the one actually has musical instruments. And the kids can go in and play the xylophone or drums, different things like that.
And kids can make noise and be outside where nobody cares if they make noise. Oh man, that's like the grail. Oh, I almost forgot. A lot of times at Flower and Garden, you'll see a sand sculpture of whatever upcoming Disney nature film is being released. And they've been releasing those on Earth Day each year. And I'm not sure what this year's is. I haven't looked, but almost certainly you'll see a sand sculpture that's dedicated to that movie coming out. And usually the first couple weeks they're working on it, which I think is even cooler than seeing it when it's done because you get to watch the guys actually.
I can't get
build
past Beauty and the Beast yet.
Yeah, that's first. Earth Day's not for a while yet. And then of course the Easter egg hunt happens during Flower and Garden, and that goes on until all of the maps. And I'm not sure what the prize is this year. If they're doing the Easter eggs again. Because last year they did the Easter eggs with the characters on them, which were really cool. So I don't know if they're doing that again this year or if there's a different prize, but those will go on until the maps and prizes are sold out, which as late as Easter is this year will probably happen sooner rather than later. And I don't know that they've necessarily opened that up already because they're probably going to try to pace that out.
So now I got to go look and see what flights are for the second week of May because I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. We've been 4 times during Flower and Garden, and it's every time it happens, I'm like, oh, it's my favorite. I love it. I want to go.
It is beautiful.
Yeah,
it is beautiful.
The first time I ever went there, before the travel business, and I was like, I thought that's what Epcot was. You know?
Oh,
and then when I went back
and then you went back and you're like, where are the
I'm like, where's that playgrounds for the kids that were right over there? And where's the
like
that place where I got the blah, blah, blah to eat and drink?
Right. Like,
and it's like, oh, you must have been here doing a festival.
The same.
But there's almost a festival. Before long, it's going to be
almost year round.
Just a party all the time.
Right. And I mean, I think it's cool that hopefully it'll continue to change themes, and I'm sure they'll have a week or so of downtime to switch out the festivals like they've had to this year. And I would say probably for the summer, I don't think we're going to see anything. I can't imagine because summer's vacation season. I don't feel like they have to do anything to draw people to Epcot. So can't really see that happening. But maybe they'll come up with something. Epcot Beach Bash or something. I don't know.
I know.
We'll save that for Hollywood Studios.
Yeah. Well, they did Olaf's Summer Fun or something a couple years ago. It was, and you got an Olaf on a stick with an umbrella, and you could carry him around. And we took pictures with Olaf everywhere. It was great. Yeah, exactly. He was flat Olaf. It was awesome. Yeah. So I guess we're ready to turn over to the news.
Pretty much.
For this week.
This is where I find everything out too.
I remembered one thing about news, and you might have it because you were very excited about it. But they did announce that the art festival is definitely coming back for 2018.
I didn't even write that down, and you're right. They did that. They did announce that this week. So yay!
I really enjoyed that.
I did too.
So but as soon as I read it, I thought, oh, Holly's gonna be happy.
I was very excited when I read that. Yeah.
Yes.
I really expect, for me personally, that the Festival of the Arts will surpass the Flower and Garden as far as my preferred time to go. My preferred Epcot Festival, but right now since it's still so young, and they really don't have it fully fleshed out as to what they could do with it. I think Flower and Garden is still, for me anyway, still the best.
And I wasn't as prepared as I feel I would like to have been to indulge into the festival more.
Right.
to spend more
to know
time,
what was going to be there and
to
know
know
where to
what was
go.
going to
And,
be. Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm still waiting to find out what they did with the murals, but we'll find out. I know they've been archived, but I'm hoping they bring them out next year.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, we're
To do something with
do
them.
something with it.
Right. Let's see. Is there anything else related to that? Not a thing. Another news item for the week. Misadventure Falls at Typhoon Lagoon is opening on March 12th. So it's a family raft ride that's coming to Typhoon Lagoon. So we visited Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach in the same week, like 3 years ago. And so it's gotten to the point where they've kind of melted together in my memory, and I can't say for sure, but I know there was a family raft ride at one of them for sure already. I don't know if both of them had it or not. I want to say maybe it was Blizzard Beach, because I think it's when you go up the ski lift, but you don't continue up the ski lift to where all the crazy people are. And they're doing the. I'm pretty
That's where you give yourself a wedgie before you get.
Yeah, just because it's going to happen.
Because when you hit bottom, you're going to have one anyway. Might as well just reach back and give it a yank, and then head down 90 feet straight down.
So anyway, if Typhoon Lagoon did not already have a family raft ride, they're getting one.
I'm hearing, and it's because of the extra ride, they took out the little scuba snorkel where you snorkeled with the mini little sharks
that's so sad.
People like to go there because they wanted their children to swim with the fishies.
Swim with the sharks.
I was going to say swim with the dolphins, but I didn't see no baby dolphins in there.
No, they were definitely scary looking sharks.
But so they're not going. And that water, if anybody's been there, that water
was cold.
Yeah.
It's cold.
Yeah.
And it was like
you didn't breathe.
Like I didn't think I wanted to go in it.
They gave you the snorkel stuff. Yeah. You didn't need it. All you do is just hold your breath, go down and swim, and get out. I mean, but it was kind of cool to be that close to the fish and that close to nature and all that. But I don't think that's there anymore.
Yeah, I looked at it when we were there, and the water looked kind of not water I wanted to swim in. And I was like, yeah, sharks are in there all the time.
They're little.
There are certain things they have to do with it.
Oh, stop it.
And I'm not going. I'm not doing it. But I'm not an ocean swimmer either, so... Other news this week, new Disney Cruise Line and ABD River Cruises, Adventures by Disney River Cruises, itineraries are out this week. If you are thinking about going on an Adventures by Disney trip in 2018 and you want to make it a river cruise, call us yesterday. There are like 4 dates that are already sold out between the Rhine and the Danube cruises for over the summer. They are offering the $500 off per adult and $1,000 off per child on the summer sailings versus the holiday sailings again. Holiday sailings are there, one for the Rhine and one for the Danube. And there's also a food and wine cruise on the Rhine, Rhine River route. Definitely something that you want to jump on if you want to do it.
Did they say whether they had adult-only itineraries?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. The food and wine is adult only, and they're... Gosh... I think over the summer there was at least one of each that was adult only, but I can't back that up actually.
I know they're offering it at many of the other itineraries.
Yeah.
And in case anyone out there is listening that doesn't know what the Adventures by Disney is there's 26 locations worldwide that are not theme parks. They're guided, Disney guided tours of Costa Rica, Peru, Australia, China, Ireland.
France and England, Germany.
France and England,
Spain,
Germany,
Greece.
Spain, Greece. They have some here in the Americas. You have your Quest for the West. You go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Rope and Tie Cattle. Have movies out at night by the stars. Stay at 3 different dude ranches. River crossing in a paddle boat in Bellows Lake in Yellowstone. Whitewater rafting with Mickey and Minnie waiting for you halfway down the canyon with your freshly prepared barbecue right there in the Canyon River.
Sweet.
So, and I'm going to be the first to tell you that at a price point, they're elevated. I can also say that they wow you so much, and
You won't
and
even care.
that they don't even tell us everything they're going to do for you on an annual basis. So we have to wait for you to come back and tell us
Right.
what they did for you while you were there.
Well, I'll be able to tell you what they do in the Southern California this year in May. Yeah, so we'll be bringing back some firsthand information on at least the SoCal itinerary.
I've had clients. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and obviously I'm like over the moon ecstatic about going on this trip, and so we'll be doing a lot of live feed from there, and we won't be able to do too much during the adventure because there are a lot of places that they take you that are restricted, and you can't do any video or photography, like actually into Walt Disney Imagineering. To the Jim Henson Muppet Studio, backstage at Cars Land, into Walt Disney's personal apartment on Disneyland. So there are, going to be a lot of places where we're not going to be able to give you video access, but we'll do what we can.
But you will, right?
But we will. Yeah.
Bring me something
I will
home.
not take illegal photos at Disneyland.
Bring me something home.
I know people who have, but I won't.
Just kidding, of course.
Yeah. What were we talking about? Oh yeah.
I think we're getting on to the news.
Disney Cruise Line also is doing some new itineraries, including a British Isles cruise that leaves on September 2nd of 18. And it's visiting Cork, Ireland for the first time. It's a brand new port for Disney. Yeah, I know, for Disney Cruise Line. I'm really bummed. It's like 3 days askew of when I could leave to do a trip. I'm like so bummed we can't do it. But another time, it'll all work out.
Yep.
New ports that Disney Cruise Line is visiting this year include Genoa, Milan, of course Cork. They're doing a Southern Caribbean itinerary out of San Juan, and double dips on Castaway Cay are back. So if you love Castaway Cay and that's your favorite thing to do, you can take an itinerary that stops there twice.
Nice.
Yeah. You ready, Amy? Sign
Yeah.
up? Okay. Yeah. Amy's going to go check it out for us. So
I want them to take me down on one cruise and pick me up like 2 weeks later.
that's a transatlantic, Jeff. You want
No, I want to stay transatlantic.
Transatlantic.
I'm just going to take a backpack with my
I don't
one-man
think they do
pop-up tent.
Yeah, they don't do any one way. The only one way they do in the Western Hemisphere is the Panama Canal. That's a bummer.
Right, from San Diego to Port Canaveral.
Disney Cruise Line, if you're listening, get to work on it, okay? We want one-way cruising.
Also,
Actually,
we did mention last week, too, that if you're going on a Disney cruise, they don't have, 30, 40 ships. They have 4 ships. They sell
And they
out.
cover
Disney
the
does
world
not
with
have a
them. It's
problem
amazing.
selling their staterooms. If you think that you're going, the price goes up with supply and demand.
If you're
Whatever
going,
they're out till in 2018,
they're out May to September right now of 2018. If you want to book May to September of 2018, yesterday is the time
and
to
that's
call.
this information isn't for us. It's the truth. It's for you
Right.
guys, because a lot of people think that at the last minute they're going to get a deal at. I'm not even going to say what the other suppliers are that everybody uses all the time.
Well, we can because
that
we
you-
sell them too.
Well, we can, but I don't want to direct them anywhere.
Right.
But yeah, okay, I'll just say
Right.
it. If you think you're going to get a $299 special on Carnival or Royal Caribbean, or it's not
Or
going to
Princess
happen
or
with a Disney.
Norwegian,
It's not
right,
going to happen
we
with a
can-
Disney Cruise Line.
If you're looking for last minute, we can accommodate that and try to find you something that's less expensive, but it's not going to be on Disney Cruise Line because it just doesn't exist. I mean, we'd love for it to exist too, but it just doesn't. So-
I'm actually kicking myself because last week I said that I would look into the Ireland one, and this week I didn't, and I know that it's probably,
yeah, that one's going to go fast.
Yeah,
I don't think,
without
and
a
there's
doubt.
only one sailing of the
Without a
British Isles
doubt.
cruise, so that's going to be gone in no time, unless they add because. They did this when they released May. They didn't release the Alaskan cruises for May when they released January through May. So they didn't come out until they did May through September. So it's possible that when they drop September through December, there could be another British Isles cruise, but it's getting pretty late in the year. For
Yeah, I was
the
going to
ships
say
be
you'd
going
have to
up
look at
around
their
that
winters
northern
over
tip.
there.
Yeah, so because the ship literally sails up around the northern tip of Scotland. I mean, it's cold up there. It's like Arctic Circle level cold. You know? So you really don't probably want to be on a ship when it's that cold out because icebergs.
You can just cuddle up with Sven.
You could, except icebergs, ice. It's powerful and cold and has a magic can't be controlled. Sorry, I'm done. Let's
Ice
see.
is my life.
These are from Frozen. If you're not so indoctrinated. One more nifty itinerary thing that's happening on Disney Cruise Line. Rome and Barcelona on the same cruise. that's happening.
Nice.
So it used to be, I think you docked where? Because you went Barcelona to all the way to Italy, but that particular cruise that left Barcelona didn't dock in Rome. I think it originated from Rome or from Barcelona, but you couldn't get to both locations on the same itinerary. Now you can.
Nice.
So nifty. Let's see. I just have 2 other quick news items that aren't specifically Florida and cruise line related. So just real quick. Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon. It's a brand new attraction at Universal that soft opened yesterday. And actually, our regular viewers, Howard and Leah, are actually got to experience that. So, hi, Howard and Leah. You're probably not watching because you're probably out having fun right now since you're at Universal this weekend. Anyway, they got to do Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon. I haven't talked to them yet to find out how it was, but Jimmy Fallon's awesome.
Yeah.
Racing and New York are awesome, so it's got to be great, right? So we'll look forward to, maybe they'll comment on our video if they watch it later and tell us about it. And Disney California Adventures Food and Wine Festival, I just want to mention that again. It's running from March 10th through April 16th. Their food and wine runs in the spring, whereas Disney World runs in the fall. And they are expecting 16 booths this year, up from their 6 last year. So that festival is growing by leaps and bounds. So definitely something worth checking out if you're headed towards the West Coast.
Very good.
So, does anybody else have any other news items for the week? And if not, we'll wrap it up with our fun fact today.
Fact.
Yeah. I thought it'd be fun this month because it is Women's History Month, and I don't usually buy into that kind of stuff, but I thought, well, at least it's something for a topic. So anyway, so I thought we'd talk about some contributions or stories specifically of women who were associated with the Disney company. So today we'll talk about Harriet Burns, who is considered the first lady of Imagineering. And it's really kind of funny because when people say this, it makes it sound like, oh, Imagineering was going strong for like 50 years, and then Harriet Burns came along and they finally let her into the club, and she was the first lady that got to do that. No, she was one of the 3 original Imagineers in 1955 who were comprising WED Enterprises, which Walter Elias Disney Enterprises. So when they call her the first lady of Imagineering, it's not some sort of like glass ceiling breaking like thing. It's she just happened to be a lady and was one of the original Imagineers. She is the first woman to have her name on a window on Main Street, which, given the fact that she started working for the company in 1955, that didn't have to, she probably didn't have to wait as long as, say, somebody who would have worked there in 1980. So that makes sense. And just a cute little story about Harriet and one of her great contributions to the Enchanted Tiki Room, which was one of the first attractions to be Imagineered. And one of the first attractions, actually the first attraction to use animatronics. The birds at the Enchanted Tiki Room were working splendidly, except that the way that the fabric that they had them covered in, when the birds would breathe, the fabric would crumple up when the bird stopped its breath. And it was Harriet Burns who went over and rubbed Walt Disney's sweater and said, "This is it. We need this material. And it's cashmere."
Oh,
so
wow.
the cast members like to joke that the Tiki Birds are the best dressed cast members at Walt Disney World. They get to wear cashmere sweaters instead of the polyester vests that everybody else does. And Harriet Burns actually then used that same technology that they used on the Tiki Birds to develop the birds for Mary Poppins. So that was kind of a long running Harriet Burns and the Birds kind of gig. So
very nice.
That's our fun fact for today, and that's going to do it for our show for the week. So
Right.
thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
And everybody have a magical night, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye-bye.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. MICKUI MOUSC.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. We do care about you and your families and creating your magical experiences.
Thanks for watching.